How's it going, guys? I'm Trevin.
And I'm Cam.
This is press coverage, and this week we'll be covering the championship round of the NFL playoffs. The first game up we have is the Broncos versus the Pats.
Yep, Broncos will be the 1 seed, hosting the 2 seeded Patriots. Drake May, Mike Vrabel coming into Denver. Now, some unfortunate news last week after the Broncos game. Sean Payton announced Bo Nix broke his ankle, so he'll have surgery, and he will be out for this game. So Jarrett Stidham is the backup. He'll be coming in starting this game, and we'll see what he can do. Sean Payton has a lot of confidence in him. We'll see how much that translates or how much that's genuine excitement for him versus just being the head coach of a team in a conference championship game. Patriots have a good team, but this is a Patriots team that is going to be going on the road against a very good defense. So there's something to be said with that. Maybe the Denver defense can keep them in the game. The offense can rely on the run game, and then they can make some turnovers or some big special teams plays maybe to keep them in this game. I do like the fact that they're at home, so maybe that's something to be said for that. But at the end of the day, I think there's just too big of a difference, too big of a question mark at quarterback, making his first start this year, I think his first start since 2022. So that's a little over 3 years now since his last start. No pass attempts this year. We'll see what he can do, but I'm just going with the Patriots for this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know how you do anything else here because when you have a guy like Bo Nix at quarterback and he gets injured at the very end of your season, as much as Sean Payton or the guys on the roster want to say that they're ready to go, they're locked in, that you can't help but letting that deflate you a little bit. Everybody has that question in the back of their head, like, is Stidham going to be able to do it? They want to back him up because he's their guy. This is their championship game. They want to believe. But I think that doubt starts to creep in a little bit and it affects the performance. Outside of that, even without the potential for doubt creeping in, has Stidham ever had enough to win a regular season game? I think he's won one of his 4 starts in his career. I believe those starts he's been sitting around 170 yards passing in that range. He hasn't ever had like an explosive game that I can remember. So it's hard to believe that he's going to be able to, wake up, shake off the dust, get into a championship game against a pretty solid Pats team, pretty good Pats defense too, and be able to do enough to take them to the Super Bowl. And honestly, if they did, who's that good for? That's kind of bad for the NFL. That's kind of bad for us as the fans because nobody wants to watch Stidham get dog walked by whoever comes out of the NFC. So it's just, it's a tough break. I like Bo Nix. We're Oregon guys. So, while we're not fans of the Oregon Ducks, we're from Oregon. You like to support those dudes as much as you can. I wasn't huge on him when he was coming out, but he's continually, grown and proved me wrong in areas where I doubted him. I like him. I want to root for him. So, you hope he recovers well. The team comes back and hopefully is in a similar position in coming years. Next year they can, redeem themselves. But I don't see the path. That Pats defense, I think they're going to get to him. They're going to pressure him a bit. Vrabel was bringing some blitzes last week, and I think there's no reason to believe he's going to stop against inexperienced QB. That defense, the DBs, are going to be able to, for the Pats, will be able to shut him down a little bit. And that team doesn't have a ton of weapons in the first place. Bo Nix was struggling to find the guys last round, so he's not set up to succeed in any way. It's just that defense, like you said, maybe the special teams, maybe they can put him in positions to squeak out some points for the half, hold on to a small lead with some field goals. But we'll see. I don't see it, and I think Drake May is going to be able to easily pull this one out.
This is a situation too where maybe on the other side of the ball, a team can come in overlooking the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
But in this instance, I'm a big Mike Vrabel fan. I think he'll have the team ready to go, and they'll come out and dominate.
Yeah.
I see the Patriots' run game taking over because the Broncos have a good defense, but they're more designed to stop the pass, less designed to stop the run. Historically, this year they did do a good job stopping the run last week, so we'll give them credit for that. But they're designed to be better against the defense, against the pass. So I'll look for them to make plays. Maybe they do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jarrett Stidham was actually drafted by the Patriots, so we'll see what he
forgot
can
about
do
that.
against his former team.
Nice pull. Yeah, I feel like maybe undersold the Pats offense again. I find myself throughout the year talking about who the Patriots are playing rather than the Patriots themselves because it's so easy to fall into that. Look at their record, look at that. All these talking points about who the Patriots really are, and it's easy to kind of push them off to the side and just say who are they playing. That's why they'll win. I want to give them a little bit of credit. Like you said, Vrabel is a very solid coach. I'm not sure he's going to be able to outcoach Peyton, but I don't think that'll matter. I think Peyton will scheme it up well. I think May might struggle a little bit in the first half like he did last week, but I think they're going to find the holes. That defense is going to get worn down because the offense won't be able to stay on the field. And I think, Stephon Diggs probably will have a big game. Like you said, maybe Travion breaks off a few big ones. Ramondre, pound the ball a bit with him. We find some crossing patterns across the middle with Hunter Henry. Or I just think that as the game goes on, the Broncos are going to get worn out by the amount of time they're forced to stand on that field and defend everything the Patriots have to throw at them. Meanwhile, the Pats on the other end, I think, are just going to be able to force a bunch of 3-and-outs, force a bunch of, win the field position battle with stopping the Broncos before, the 50-yard line. I think they're going to have a real tough time having a long drive with Stidham. I think this one's easy.
It's going to be a big game for Cortland Sutton, too, because like you mentioned, inexperienced quarterback, they're going to be blitzing him. So he's going to most likely have some one-on-ones that he's going to have to win in man coverage off the line. And so we'll see what he can do. Maybe he can make him punish him for that. We'll see what happens. And in the NFC Championship game, we have the Rams traveling to Seattle. This is going to be one heck of a game. Seattle looks very good against the 49ers. I think that game was, 41-6. Absolutely dismantled the 49ers, which you can make all these claims about how they were injured and they had nobody to play. That was the case when they went on the road to Philadelphia and won. So
yeah.
At the end of the day, the Seahawks look great. Same thing with the Rams. This is going to be a great game. I like the Seahawks in this one. I'll come out early with that. I think being in that Seattle stadium is something different. I was there a few years ago on a Thursday night football game against the Packers, and just being in that stadium, it's just different. The way it's designed, it holds the noise in and it shakes. And the Rams are a team that I think can endure that environment. But I really like the Seahawks defense. I love what they're doing. Their defensive line is stacked, and they follow that up on the back end too with good DBs, athletic linebackers, and Mike McDonald. He finally got the roster the way he wants it, and they're playing the way he wants them to play. And you're seeing that with the results. A great defense. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator of that team, or that side of the ball. One thing that's overlooked with the Seahawks offense is the run game.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone looks at JSN and Sam Darnold. People think Sam Darnold he has the potential to have a bad game. But at the end of the day, they're not really relying on him too much to have that bad game. They're relying on their really good defense, and they're relying on special teams in their run game. And then whatever the passing game adds on is just bonus points at that point. And so Darnold does what he needs to, and they've had tremendous success. And then with the Rams, they're a good team, but I think they're still outmatched this week, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Personally, whenever I think about Rams games, my brain automatically leans LA. I don't know what it is. I'm not like a massive fan of any guy on that team. I think it might have been, just watching more games of theirs throughout the regular season, but I've always leaned Rams. But here, I can't make it make sense. I can't figure out a way that it's more likely the Rams walk out with this. The Seahawks just seem like the better team. Now, these teams obviously played each other twice during the regular season, 2 really close games. I believe one of them went to overtime. They split those. These teams are evenly matched, but in the postseason, we saw the Rams struggle with those Panthers. We've seen them, not quite look as dominant as they were during the regular season, and I'm not sure exactly what the reasoning for that is. They don't seem terribly, injured. They might just be a little bit more dinged up than they're leading on. I think, Puka Nakua notoriously, at the end of the regular season was talking about how brain injuries aren't real. You just kind of play through it. I feel like I've seen him start to ramp down his production. He hasn't looked quite the same as he did, and that might just be a result of playoff defensive scheming. Uh, NFL coaches tend to prepare a lot better for these games in the year because they're the most important games. These are the ones you have to get out of, continue. So it might just be a matter of better scheming. But to me, it seems like these guys are starting to slow down. Kyren and Stafford, they all seem just a touch dinged up. And I think that's maybe affecting the play. And then on the other side of the ball, all the things you said, Charbonnet was looking good in the first half of the last game, and he got injured, but we'll see. I think Kenneth ended up looking awesome for the rest of that game. He carried them all the way through, and I like him a lot better in that backfield. They're both really great backs, but I just think that their running game is going to be completely fine no matter who's back there. That line is kind of underrated. I don't know. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but they're really solid. That wide receiver room, very good. Picking up Shaheed at the trade deadline was awesome for them. I think that was an amazing move also for special teams, but the receiving game as well. I think Darnold gets a lot of flack for struggling in the postseason, but I think this is his year. I think Stafford, it doesn't quite have enough in the tank to get him there. He was able to pull out a last-second win over a team like the Panthers, but can you do that? Can you come from behind against a team like the Seahawks? I think they're just too good. I think they're going to take an early lead in the first half, maybe a single touchdown, 10-point lead at the first half of the game, and I don't think the Rams are going to have enough in the tank to push through and bring it all the way back. I think the Hawks take it, and we end up with a Pats-Hawks Super Bowl. So, yeah, not super fun. A lot of agreeing here this week in the two games, but that's what happens when you get to the end of the season. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch it, and I hope it's interesting and the Seahawks don't steamroll them. I think it should be a good game, but at the end of the day, I got the Hawks.
Yep. Give us your scores. Give us your predictions in the comments, and we'll be active on those and replying to you.
Yeah, perfect. And if you're checking out this video, make sure to check out our UFC video this week. We should be covering the Saturday Night Fights, the first Paramount card. So go ahead and flip on over to that and check out the fights.